At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good day, bonsoir. Is that goodbye? I can't remember. It's been that long. Anyway, how are we all? Just had to start again because my mic was turned right down and I didn't realise. Call me. 2 days in a row. We've not done that since Christmas. So we are, if you didn't listen to the previous podcast episode to today, so yesterday's, I'm playing catch up. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there will be an episode to catch up in the few that I've missed. And then we'll be back to normal Wednesday, 7 p.m. and every Wednesday they're on. Sorry. Mental block. Menopause block. Whatever you want to call it. Menopause brain. So I guess there's not really much to catch up on because I haven't been away for a week. I've only been away for like 24 hours. So today was working, came home, had a migraine, lay down. Know what caused the migraine, we'll not talk about it today. You can save that for another day because can't be bothered with another migraine coming back. I've literally just finished work at 7 p.m. tonight, so yes, it's great fun. We like being busy because busy means we're helping. Does that make sense? I like helping people. I suppose it kind of takes you away from your own thoughts sometimes, your own problems. Not that I've got many problems at the minute, but yes, we are playing catch up. So yesterday's episode was about older parents, older mums, having children older, why you might do that, what the term geriatric mum means, which is quite condescending actually, that if you ask me. I wonder who came up with that phrase for a 30-something-year-old mother. I wonder if we can find that out. That's interesting. I'll maybe look into that one actually. Didn't think to Google that. Who decided a 35-year-old was a geriatric? Geriatric when I was younger meant like you were about 85 and not quite with it. Anyway, today, what we're talking about today? Today we're talking about we are family. Oh yeah. I got all my sisters with me. I mean, I don't have any sisters, but if I did, would I have them with me? That would depend on them. That would depend on the type of person they were. But I think we realise that as we get older. So, family, friends becoming family. We've kind of had that discussion before, haven't we? About friends becoming more like family than what some family members are. I think today let's talk about the different stages throughout life where you see family members in a different light maybe. I've got some family members, I've seen them the same way all the way through my life. I've got other family members who I thought I knew, didn't quite. Some, your opinion changes sometimes, and it's about getting older and seeing different traits in people that you don't necessarily know about when you're younger, or about realising what you are allowed to say no to or not accept in life. And I don't mean say no as in the stereotypical saying no. I just mean like saying, no, I don't want to do something. No, I don't want that person in my life. No, I don't want to go here. No, I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to spend that money on this. Do you know what I mean? Like, just do what's right for you. Have whoever in your life who you feel appropriate to be in your life. Looking out for yourself, because sometimes people can convince us that we need certain people in our life. And I see it a lot on social media about people who they don't know the person personally that they're speaking to, but they'll be like, oh, you can't speak about such and such like that. That's family. You can't speak about your mum like that. You can't speak about your dad like that. You can't speak about your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, whoever it may be. You don't know what's going on in that relationship. You don't know how that person is with them, how they've spoke to them. So don't tell people that you don't actually know how they should feel about somebody, how they should speak about somebody, or how they should be around them, because childhood trauma is a thing. Not every parent is a good parent. Not every sibling is going to go on with their siblings. Not every, cousin will go on. Some people's aunts and uncles maybe don't go on with some of the family, but they go on with other family members. And listen, family's a wild ride. Family really is, and everybody's family is different, and their relationships can look different. So I have some friends who the bond with their family is what looks like on the outside unbreakable. They do a lot together, they socialise together, they do whatever. And for a lot of years, I suppose to an extent, maybe felt envious of that, because some of their relationships, were so tight, are so tight, and potentially I didn't experience the same thing. But then you get to a point where you realise, but you've got people round about you, whether it's family or friends, who you are close to, you can open up to, you can rely on them, they can rely on you, they can open up to you. You have a stronger bond with them than what you might have with your siblings or whoever else, and that's okay. It's about telling yourself that it's okay to have a different relationship within your family than what other people have got within their family. It's okay to not put on a front just to make it look as if you've got a happy family, because the sad reality is not every family is happy. Not every family is close, and it could be that that's started many generations ago and nobody's ever broke that cycle. And I've spoke before about me personally breaking the cycle as a parent and making sure that there was a stronger bond or whatever else it might be. Like myself and my two sons, the three of us together have a tight bond. We have a really strong relationship, a really strong bond, which I'm so proud of, because I created that all by myself. All by myself. So yes, we can be happy with or without family. We can be happy and live a different life from what you've been told you're supposed to live. Because think of it from somebody else's perspective. Now, I don't know obviously who's listening, so I don't know each and every single person's story. But say, for example, you decided that you're gay, homosexual, sorry, brain fog. You are attracted to the same sex. I'm trying to be mindful of the words that I'm using. I don't want to offend anybody. I'm obviously a heterosexual female, so I'm trying to be mindful of what I'm saying. Don't want to upset anybody's feelings. And not everybody's family accepts that. So do they have to be something that they're not just to make their family happy? Do they have to hide their relationships just to make their family happy? Of course not. They should be exactly who they are. They should be allowed to be exactly who they want to be, and they shouldn't have to hide anything, because they're not doing anything illegal, they're not doing anything wrong, and all they want is love. They want to be in a relationship, and it just so happens that they want to be in the relationship with another male or another female, depending on whether they're male or female. You've got family members who their daughter's got to be married, their daughter's got to have children, or the son's got to have children to carry on the family name and all this. And you do get people that are threatened with, you're getting took out the will if you don't live by my rules and all this. There's lots and lots and lots of things. Or it could be a religious thing. If you don't follow a religion, then the family disown you or whatever else if you decide to go with another religion. Family's so complicated. Life is complicated enough as it is without any added extras. I do find, me personally, not saying this is everybody, because some people will be stronger than what I was as a teenager and as an early adult, a young adult. I find now that I'm in my, now this is me just talking about me, I'm not talking about anybody else, but my psychotic menopause era. Not quite psychotic, but we'll just say that, right? I do find that I don't accept as much and I stand up for myself more than what I probably would have in my 20s. And it probably built up over the years. Different relationships make you realise even more that you're not going to accept. And I don't just mean relationships from family members, which that's a whole other roller coaster for me, but I mean partnerships. So, I said yesterday's episode, I'm not very good at picking men. And I suppose every relationship I've learned, well, I say I've learned something from, I would like to think I've learned something from most of them, if not all of them, but potentially I haven't. God knows, because I've not dated for that long. I wouldn't know what I've learned and what I've not learned. So I'll keep you posted on that one if I ever start dating again. But I know that I see some family members in a different light. I have stopped accepting a lot from family members. There's that, did you hear that air freshener again? I don't even know if the microphone picks up on it. I personally have stopped accepting a lot because you realise what triggers your trauma as well, because you maybe get flashback or you start overthinking things from the past that you thought you'd forgotten about. So when somebody tells you that certain members of their family, whether it be a brother, a sister, a mum, a dad, cousin, aunt, grandparent, whatever, isn't in their life anymore, instead of judging them for that reason, you could ask them why, but they may not want to tell you. You could ask questions like how long, or are you okay with that? Like all these different things, but don't judge them on it, because they may not want to open up, they may not want to tell you the full reason, and that's okay, because everybody has a story to tell, and they get to tell their story in their own time and not forced into telling it. You've also got to remember that some people will have been through some of the most horrendous, heinous, unthinkable things with family members. So they may, for obvious reasons, not want to tell you that, because that's such a personal thing that would trigger a lot of emotions. And it'll depend on where they are in their healing journey as well. But that's kind of when you're talking about your own family. But then when you get into adulthood and you're in a serious relationship, or you get married, then you start having in-laws. And I hear that can be a whole other ride. Yes, I still don't want to get married. I have enough with my family. I don't need somebody else's family to come and throw something else, throw another grenade in my direction. But yeah, in-laws can be hard work. Now, I've got to admit, any serious relationship I've been in, I've been very lucky with their parents, that I've never, I don't think from what I can remember, had a parent that I've not got on with and that hasn't absolutely loved me. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm joking, by the way. Well, I'm not joking, they did like me, to the point where one of them, I can't believe this, One said that she actually loved me more than she loved her son, and that caused a bit of a fight between, not a fight between me and her, but I did say, you can't say that, that's not nice, that's actually quite nasty, don't say that. But then, to be fair on her son was an a-hole. He wasn't the nicest of people, hence why I'm not with him anymore. But yeah, so in-laws, what's your thoughts? How are yours? Do you have good in-laws? Are you on the other side of the fence? Do you have regular contact with your in-laws? I constantly see on social media about mother-in-laws, and no, I really hope I don't become this person. Mother-in-laws in general, and mostly, sorry, I couldn't get the words out there. Mainly you hear about mother-in-laws, about them voicing their opinions quite a lot, especially when it comes to the children stroke grandchildren, or the lack of, or the naming of, or whether you should go back to working, whether the children should go to nursery or go to grand's house. Again, it's about standing your ground, and it's about you and your husband or partner, wife, being a joined unit, being on the same page, and ensuring that it doesn't, if you have a difference of opinion from your in-laws, make sure it doesn't cause a rift within your marriage or relationship. Do not let the trying to word this nicely, because there might be some mother-in-laws listening to this. No, I'm only joking. But it's about everybody being on the same page, everybody opening up and being honest with each other, but not in a volatile way. If you disagree with each other, don't argue. Try not to argue, especially don't argue in front of children. Because one, it can be frightening for the children, and two, they think they have to take sides, and that, you don't put a child in that position. My mum very often voiced their opinion on my gran. God love my wee gran, I swear to God. But again, that's a whole other story. It's, again, what kind of relationship does your partner have with his or her family? And do you have the same relationship with them? Or are you feeding off their bad vibes towards their family, but you actually like the family, but you don't want to tell your partner you like the family because they maybe don't go on with certain family members, but you go on. Do you know, it's, yeah. And you're allowed to like who you like and dislike who you dislike. And that's okay, because we don't all like the same people. We don't all dislike the same people. We all have different personalities. We all have different interests. We all have different temperaments. But it's just ensuring that you're not making somebody else's life more miserable or making it miserable, and you're not allowing anybody else to make you feel that way either. And sometimes it's just about distancing yourself for a couple of days, a couple of hours, a couple of weeks, a couple of whatever, and then coming together and saying, right, okay, there's been a wee bit of distance between us, let's have a wee chat and see if we can resolve it. Sometimes it's a case of, not a chance that person's ever going to be in my life again. And that's okay. It genuinely is okay, because there's so many people in the world that you're never going to have time to like everybody. You're never going to necessarily have time to be round about these people. And if you think about it, most of the time when it comes to family, the majority of them, you only, well, me personally anyway, you only see them at family events, like maybe weddings or funerals. I tend to only see people at funerals just now, because I don't really go to weddings, and I've been to quite a few funerals in the last 12 months, and it's actually heartbreaking. Me and my friend were talking about this the other day, about everybody, a lot of people dying so young just now, and yeah, it's not nice. It makes you think, it makes you appreciate the good health that you do have, even if it's not amazing health. but you're still able to live some sort of life, because not everybody can, not everybody's got any kind of quality of life. And you can get people that within the family that might try and manipulate your opinions or manipulate situations. And again, it's about you standing up for yourself. And listen, see if you don't feel comfortable standing up for yourself, make an excuse. Wee white lies don't hurt anybody. If it's, oh, sorry, I can't go to that family function because the kids are in their bed for 6 o'clock, or sorry, I need to take my daughter to gymnastics, or my son's got karate, or whatever. Make your excuses. But listen, we've all used our children as an excuse in the past. Don't anybody come for me and say that you never, because we've all done it. And if you've not done it, you will do it in the future. Okay? You're not harming anybody to an extent. Sorry, I went a bit Scottish there. I suppose you're protecting yourself and you're protecting the other person, because you maybe don't want to hurt their feelings by saying, actually, no, I don't really want to be spending an hour with you. Thank you kindly, sir. Or maybe you just can't afford to go where they're going, and that's okay. Invite them to your house for dinner if you actually like them. What do you find the biggest struggle when it comes to family? So did you struggle more before you had kids or after you have kids, if you've got kids? Was it when you were a teenager? Was it adulthood? Is it as you're getting older? Do you find that people have too many opinions about whether you should be married or whether you should be having kids, and what you should call you, how many kids you should have, and where you should be living, what job you should be doing? A few of them. For me, yeah, my gran, again, God rest her soul, her one thing she always wanted for me was to settle down. I'm sorry, Betty, it's never going to happen hen. She just always wanted me to find somebody who would love me and just be my person, not necessarily to get married, because my gran had been married a couple of times, so she knows that marriage doesn't always work. But she just wanted me to find, she used to always say, just want you to find a boyfriend, just find somebody to love you. And I'm like, Gran, I'm not interested, I don't care. And she's like, aye, but Gran, no the day, hen, no the day. So that was the one thing my gran always wanted for me, was for me to find somebody. Listen, I'm only halfway, at the halfway line now, so there's still time. But if I find it, I find it, and if I don't, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. That's the way I see it. Can't force anything, shouldn't force anything, can't force love. No matter how much you maybe want somebody to love you, or you maybe want to love somebody, because you could meet somebody and you think they would be my perfect person because they have all the traits of a good person, but there's just no chemistry there, and that's okay. Maybe they're better as a friend than a lover. I'm right into the singing today, eh? So yes, family can be chaos, family can be amazing, and it can be anything else in between. It's not always about you and what you're doing or not doing. It's about everybody. Everybody plays their part in relationships, and if somebody wants to be a bit shitty in the relationship, whether it be, like I said, a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, a cousin, a relative, a partner, an in-law, everybody's got their own part to play, and they've got their own responsibility. And it's about taking responsibility when you're not doing the best that you can do. Yeah. I used to always worry about cutting people off, because there was maybe a few people that I would have cut off a long time ago, but because I'm a single parent and my boys only had my side of the family to an extent, they did have my youngest's granda and his uncle for a long time, but then his granda passed away and the uncle will not go there. So the majority of the time it's only been my family, So I always felt bad cutting anybody from my family out, regardless of how horrible or negative they were, because I thought my children deserve people in their life. But then as you get older, you realise that maybe you should have cut that person out a long time before you did, because children maybe seen things they shouldn't have seen, or that you wouldn't have wanted them to see or hear. And I've got to make peace with that, because I do find I blame myself for allowing people to be in their life for too long. But again, it's about making peace with it, and my boys have turned out amazing regardless, and we now know who's we want in our lives, including them, and they have their own choice, their own mind. They're grown up now, but they're kind of on the same page as me, because like I say, they've maybe seen things I shouldn't have, or I wouldn't have wanted them to see in reality. But yeah, don't blame yourself if things happen at a different pace than what you would potentially have wanted it to happen. Don't get angry with yourself about other people's treatment of you or your kids. You can't be blamed for somebody else's behaviour the same as they can't be blamed for yours. So yes, that's just a quick one. Like I say, I'm just kind of playing catch up with the episodes just now, so some episodes maybe be shorter than others. We may touch on them again. Like I said on yesterday's episode, there's some that we will touch on more. But I think talking about the whole family and relationships and things like that, there is ways that you can heal your relationship with your family, and obviously family counselling is one of them. Or you could have somebody who is a mutual friend or a relative that's quite calm, that could be a mediator for the two of you, or however many, to sit and have a chat. You could find a common bond that you've got, maybe something you're both enjoying. You could go and do that for the day and try and work on things. Or it might be that you just don't want to, because you've gave the person chance after chance. And you know what? Whatever decision you make, that's okay. As long as you have peace that you've thought it through and came to a decision, then that's okay. And you can change your mind at any time in life. Nobody's saying you have to fall out with people forever or disown them or whatever else. But if somebody has caused you trauma, that's on them, and it's up to you how you deal with it. As long as you don't do anything illegal. Like, don't go and hire a hitman or anything like that, you know. I know it can be tempting, but don't do it. Genuinely, don't. All you're doing is giving somebody money for you to get imprisoned if you get caught. What is everybody doing now that kids are starting to go back to school? Because I know Scotland have been back for a couple of weeks now, and I think England are just starting to go back. America's gone back, haven't they? Did Australia just have their winter holiday? I think. Have you had it yet? So everybody's at a different season just now, aren't they? Summer going into autumn, but I've just got this strange feeling in Scotland that we're, as usual, going to skip autumn and go straight into winter, the throes of the winter. So some people will have children that are just starting school for the very first time, or maybe even nursery. How are you getting on with that? How's your emotions coping with it? It can be very emotional, seeing your little tiny tot, especially when they're tiny in height. My youngest was quite small. He was smaller in height than what my oldest was going to school. So my oldest, he looked as if he was ready to go to school about 2 years before he went. But my youngest, he just looked so tiny. And when you see some of them who are even smaller and wee petite things walking up to school with their uniforms on, or in the playgrounds, you're just like, oh, takes you back. But maybe some of you are, now that your kids are starting school or nursery, you might be thinking about going back to work. Maybe you're already at work and you're trying to juggle the whole school hours and trying to find somebody to look after the kids before or after school, And it can be very expensive as well if you're paying for like breakfast clubs, after school care, all that sort of thing. Then you've got all the school holidays that you need to get the kids looked after. And if you don't have family that can help with that, it can be very expensive. So when my oldest was at school, I was in the depths of my mental health, whatever you want to call it, era. So I wasn't working at that point. Then when my youngest was at school, I was working, well, when he was at nursery, I was working in an insurance company. So it is expensive, and especially if you've only got one wage coming in. And sometimes you can have two wages coming in, but one of the wages is literally just paying for the childcare. So you think, is it actually worth it? Because we're not getting any benefit for this apart from the fact that you're maybe getting a breakaway for the kids and getting some adult company and work. And maybe you find that that in itself is worth it, and that's okay. But when my youngest started school, I had out my first business, but I was just about to open my first business at that point. So I think it was a few months after I opened my first business. So since he's been at school, I've never really had to find childcare, unless I was out doing an event or working on a market or whatever, which I did with my first business. And that was at the weekends and my mum was about. But it is hard. Raising children, it can be done on your own. It can be done with a multitude of people. It can be done with just two of you. It just depends on your situation. But maybe you've got a friend who works opposite shifts to you, and the two of you could help each other out. Like, try and find a way. If you're finding it expensive, see if there is a way where you can help each other. And not everybody thinks it that way. Not everybody thinks, oh, we could actually team up. Like, maybe you've got a friend or a cousin or a sister or a brother or something, and one works during the week, the other one works at the weekend. So maybe one could have the kids during the week, one could... Do you know what I mean? Let's all help each other. Help, I need somebody. Help, not just anybody. I'm in a singing mood. I said to my son the other day, my youngest, I do carpool karaoke, I dance and I sing and everything when me and him are in the car. Well, me and both the boys are in the car, but my oldest, he's got his own car, so he's normally not in mine. So I said to him the other day, do you know what? I've got a good idea. And he says, what? Why don't we go to a karaoke bar? And he says, I think that's the most horrendous idea ever. He said, in actual fact, I'd rather go to school. And that's saying something, because that boy was never at school because he had a horrendous time at school, God love him. So I'm thinking my son doesn't like my singing, and I actually think that's quite rude, because singing is my passion. Might not be good at it, but I love it. And I especially love sitting, singing and dancing in the car. I'd sing and dance my wee heart out. The people that are driving in front of me must look in their mirror and go, what is she doing? I do the full mashed potato and everything. Do the twist. I can mash potato, I can mash potato, I can do the twist, I can do the twist. Now tell me, baby, do you like it like this? Oh, listen, you've got me started. Look what yous have done. Yous have made me keep singing. I hope my wee pal that likes my singing's listening. I actually don't even know your name. Has anybody started thinking about Christmas? I'm sorry, said the word. But in the UK anyway, all the Christmas chocolates are starting to come in into the supermarkets and all the shops. And I said to my son the other day, I says, I think I'm going to go and buy a new Christmas tree this week. And he's like, Mum, well, it was still August at the point, because it was last week. He went, Mum, it's August. I said, but it'll be September when I buy it. And he's like, right, so it'll be September. Christmas is December. I went, no, but that's not that far away. I think I'll buy a new Christmas tree. So he was not impressed. So I'm going to see if they want to come Christmas tree shopping with me this week. I don't think they will, but I could put my tree up, couldn't I? Could you imagine? Aileen buys a new Christmas tree, puts our Christmas decorations up, then finds the house and has to take the tree down. That would be, maybe I should put my tree up, and it might mean that I'll find the house quicker. Does anybody get my thinking on that one? Is it just me that thinks that way? Yeah, probably. So yes, Christmas is a coming, and it will be here before we know it. When you think about it, you've only got 3, maybe 4 pay slips until Christmas, because you'll have September, October, November, and then depending when you get paid in December, you may have December as well. That's quite scary to think about. Do you save up all year round, or are you like me and do everything last minute? I'm not doing everything last minute. I tend to start round about now trying to buy things in, and then it's the main presents I get last minute, like the big main present. Not last minute, but I'll leave that to as close to Christmas as possible until they 100% decide what they want, because you know what it's like. They always change their mind. How many times when your kids were small did you get them to write their letter to Santa? They wrote their Christmas list, and then December, the week before Christmas or on Christmas Eve, they'd be like, Mum, I forgot to ask Santa for. Mum, I don't want that anymore. Can you phone Santa and tell Santa that I will change my mind? Oh, those days. So yeah. Who escapes for Christmas and New Year? So one of my dreams is to go to New York Christmas shopping. And I keep saying to the boys, 1 year we're doing it. We will do it 1 year. Just not this year. So that's one of my dreams. But I've also always said I would love to go away, like maybe leave on Boxing Day and be away for New Year. I'd quite fancy that with the boys. But I don't know where I would want to go. I want to go somewhere that's not cold and not overly crowded, because obviously my son's autistic, so he doesn't like big crowds. And that maybe they do something nice, spectacular, like for the bells. I don't know. If you have got any ideas, or if you have ever been anywhere, then let me know. But even like just going somewhere in Scotland, like to a nice castle for New Year, that would be stunning. I just always think about these things when it's too late, because by now everything will be booked up in Scotland for New Year. People, they'll have booked it up like at the start of the year, so there won't really be anything. Yeah, I don't know, maybe next year. Can you remind me in January to book something for New Year 2026 going into 27? Not that I'm wishing my life away or anything like that. Can you believe we're nearly in 2026? I'm sorry. Did I just like depress you there? I'm sorry. I'm not wishing anybody's life away, but I just can't believe like how fast the days are going in. And I think, well, I know as you get older, the days go in faster. And you always say that. And then I remember when my son, I can't remember if he was 17 at the time, something like that, coming up to 18 maybe, and he said, Mum, you're right. The days do go in dead fast when you're older. Oh, just wait till you're my age, son, and see how fast the days go in then. But anyway, I am going to leave it at that. Again, as always, if anybody would like to book in for counselling, life coaching, business coaching or wellness coaching, or if you would like to book in for one of the holistic therapies if you live in Glasgow or any of the surrounding areas, then you can either fill out the contact me forum on therebootsanctuary.com, or you could email therebootsanctuary@gmail.com. If you would like to contact me about coming on the podcast as a guest, if you would like me to tell a story for you confidentially, or if you would like to advertise on the podcast or sponsor the podcast, then you can get me at rebootyourthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. But for now, I am going to go. There will be another episode again tomorrow, and then we'll be back to normal on Wednesday at 7 p.m. But for now, take care. Speak soon. Bye bye.